That smooth, freshly painted wall might be hiding a structural nightmare that will cost you thousands later. A fresh coat of paint and new plaster is the oldest trick in the renovation industry. It makes everything look finished, clean, and professional, even when what's underneath is rushed, uneven, and built to last just long enough to get past the sale. Today, I'm showing you exactly how to see through it, the specific tests, the specific things to look for, and the red flags that tell you whether a job was actually done right or just made to look that way. 12 years across, 8 trades in Australia. I've plastered walls, I've painted over other people's work, and I know exactly what gets hidden and why. Let's get into it. Part 1, the illusion of the flawless finish. High gloss paint and fresh white plaster are the ultimate camouflage. They reflect light evenly. They fill small gaps visually, and they make even poor quality framing look solid from a distance. Here's what most people don't know. When a developer or builder does a final walkthrough before handover, they control the lighting. Overhead lights positioned directly above of a wall make it look perfectly flat. Side lighting from a window or a torch held at a low angle across the surface tells you the truth. Every bump, wave, and uneven join suddenly becomes visible. Before you inspect any newly renovated or newly built room, open the blinds, turn off the overhead lights, and hold your phone torch at a low angle across each wall. Run it slowly from one end to the other. What you see will surprise you. Also, that new home smell. It's not always a good sign. In rushed construction, that smell can come from cheap adhesives, fresh paint applied over still damp plaster, or materials that haven't had time to properly cure. If the smell is strong and the job was supposedly finished weeks ago, ask why. Part 2, the geometry of deception. A simple spirit level or a laser level is the most powerful tool a homeowner can bring to an inspection. You don't need to be a tradie to use one, you just need to know where to point it. Hold a long level against the wall, horizontally and vertically. Any gap between the level and the wall surface tells you the wall isn't flat. A small amount of variation is normal in older homes. In a newly renovated or newly built property, any visible gap is a problem. Look for ghosting. This is where nail pops and joint tape underneath the paint are starting to push through. You'll see it as faint lines or slightly raised patches running horizontally or vertically across the wall. It means the plasterwork wasn't finished properly before painting, and those lines will get worse over the time. Check every door frame and window reveal with your level. A square, plumb door frame that opens and closes smoothly without sticking is one of the best indicators that the framing behind the wall was done properly. A door that drags, gaps unevenly, or won't latch without force tells you the frame was forced into place rather than built correctly. If you're finding this useful and want more of this kind of practical knowledge before your next renovation or property purchase, hit subscribe. There's a lot more coming. Part 3, deep dive into trim and transitions. Get down low and look at the gap between the skirting boards and the floor. In a well-finished job, that gap is consistent, tight, and sealed. A gap that varies in size along the length of the board, wider in some places, almost touching in others, tells you either the floor is uneven, the subfloor has sagging joists underneath, or the carpenter who installed the skirting wasn't good enough to compensate for it. Look at every miter joint, the angled cuts where two pieces of trim meet at a corner. A tight, clean miter joint with no gap and no filler tells you the carpenter measured properly and cut carefully. A joint that's been filled with caulk and painted over tells you the cuts were off and someone tried to hide it. The more filler you see on trim joints, the lower the quality of the finish underneath the paint. Where different wall materials meet, like where plasterboard meets brick or where a wall meets a ceiling, look at the junction closely. Lazy taping and mudding shows up here as a slightly raised ridge and uneven texture, or a line that's been painted over multiple times trying to blend it in, run your finger along those junctions. If you can feel a ridge that your eye was missing, it's there. Part 4, the hardware and utility stress test. Open and close every internal door and knock on it. A solid core door has real weight to it and makes a deep, solid sound when you knock. A hollow core door feels light and sounds like you're knocking on cardboard. Budget builds use hollow core doors on every interior room. There's nothing wrong with it if it's priced accordingly, but it shouldn't be presented as a quality finish. Look at every power outlet and light switch. The cutout in the wall around the plate should be clean and tight. No gaps, no rough edges, no plates that sit slightly crooked. An electrician who takes pride in their work cuts clean openings and fits plates perfectly flush. Sloppy cutouts with visible gaps filled with paint or filler are a sign of rushed work throughout. Walk slowly across the floor near heavy areas, near kitchen appliances, bathroom walls. Anywhere with extra load, bounce gently on your heels. A floor that bounces, squeaks, or feels soft under load indicates poor structural blocking underneath. The kind of thing that gets covered by flooring and is expensive to fix later. Quick break. If you want to hire a tradie for renovation, plastering, painting, or any other home job, and you want someone who's actually been verified before they show up, Locentra is built for exactly this. Post your job free at locentra.com.au. Homeowners post for free and compare quotes from manually verified tradies. No one can pay to rank above anyone else. Reviews are tied to real completed jobs and can't be hidden. And tradies join free and get 5 free credits when you're approved. The more homeowners who post jobs on Locentra, the more real local work available for you. Share this video with anyone you know who's got a renovation coming up. Link in the description and inside pinned comment below. Part 5, long-term survival versus surface aesthetics. Not every crack in a wall is a disaster. Hairline cracks that follow the line of plasterboard joints or appear around the door frames are usually cosmetic settling, normal in any building as it adjusts to temperature and moisture changes over time. The cracks to worry about are diagonal cracks running from the corners of windows and doors, horizontal cracks along brick or blockwork, or any crack that's wider at one end than the other. These patterns indicate structural movement, not settling, and they need an engineer's assessment before you buy or sign off on any work. Your phone can also help here. Several free and cheap apps use your phone's camera to do basic thermal imaging. Point it at a wall and look for cold spots. Blue areas on the thermal view that indicate gaps in insulation or moisture trapped behind the plaster. Moisture hidden in walls is one of the most expensive problems in Australian residential construction because by the time you can see it, the damage is usually extensive. Final checklist before you sign off on any renovation or new build: walls flat and level with no ghosting or raised joints, door frames plumb and doors opening smoothly, skirting boards tight and consistent with clean miter joints, no floor bounce or squeaking near load points, outlet cutouts clean and plates sitting flush, no diagonal cracks at window and door corners, no cold spots or moisture signs on thermal scan. If this checklist is going on your phone before your next inspection, drop a like. It helps more people find this before they need it. Fresh paint and new plaster look great, they're supposed to, but now you know exactly what to look for underneath them, and that knowledge is worth far more than any cosmetic finish. The best tradies in this industry take pride in what's behind the wall as much as what's in front of it. This checklist helps you find those people and filter out the ones who are betting on you not looking closely enough. Check the link in the description for Locentra, and if you haven't seen the rest of this series, the videos are right here.